Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we're gonna be reacting to
Why Europe is building a $34 billion, I assume, transport mega hub. I assume dollars. What's the dollar sign, not euro sign?
Europe's getting an infrastructure
Which is weird. Why are we using dollars when describing European?
yeah.
It's just, I don't know.
overhaul. Started way back in the
Is there
1990s,
like a
the
keyboard sign
For
to
Euro?
euro?
Of
Yeah,
course, yeah.
I never seen it
Trans-European
before.
Network for Transport, or
No, they usually
TENT,
write
is a
euros.
plan to connect the
No, it's
3,
I don't have it on this keyboard. No, it's
Oh.
it's like even too.
and it would post it.
Yeah, of course. No, you
Never
have
seen it.
you've seen it. I've seen it. It was in the video as well.
continent through a series of roads, railways,
But I have it on
airpaths, and
thumbnails.
waterways. And it makes
As a
sense.
picture, I can
Europe's
see
made up
that.
of 44
No, as a
countries, 29
sign.
of which are part of a special group called the Schengen area. It's the biggest zone of visa-free travel in the world, enabling an entire continent of weekends away and international business trips. That all means that good travel connections are a real necessity. A successful TEN-T sees the 27 EU countries plus all of these connected seamlessly. Right at the heart of Europe and its travel infrastructure sits Poland. So where better to build $34 billion worth of transport headquarters and high-speed rail fit to connect a continent. This hub is called the Central Communications Port. Catering to air, rail and roads galore, it's Poland's largest ever infrastructure project. And the nation's government has given it a big thumbs up. This is Poland's new mega transport hub and the plan to make it the linchpin of European travel.
Interesting that it's in Poland. I would think Germany would be a little more centric than Poland.
Wouldn't Lithuania be in the center?
Geographically, yeah, but that's counting Russia.
Oh,
I mean, I guess kind of from Poland straight down to the Balkans.
really? Because Poland's not
Yeah,
too far from Lithuania.
yeah. No, I'm looking at the map right now. I, it makes sense. Germany's. I- I'd probably put it like on the border of Germany and Poland.
But don't they have to be okay about that too? Maybe they don't want it.
Oh,
Maybe they
yeah,
would
right.
consider.
Maybe Germany don't want it. Yeah, yeah, you're right. Huh. Yeah, no, Poland is cool. Yeah, Poland makes sense. I see it.
So, in case you weren't aware, Poland is bang smack in the middle of Europe, and this port, known as CPK, or formerly the Solidarity Transport Hub, is going to sit here, about 25 miles west of Warsaw. That puts it right in the middle of the most central country. It's the 9th biggest nation on the continent and has a grand total of 7 bordering neighbours. It really is the perfect place for a swanky new transport hub. Now, to put it very mildly, the 20th century wasn't exactly kind to Poland. After the destruction of the Second World War, Poland's material losses reached around $48 billion, and that's pre-war dollars. The country then fell under Soviet rule during the Cold War, and
But
debt soared.
why are we talking in dollars? It's in Europe. The guy clearly speaks with an accent, so he's not American. Why dollars?
Once
Don't
again.
disrespect Europe
The
like
fact
that.
that Poland has bounced back and now stands as one of the most solidly performing economies in Europe is a
Maybe
testament
the
to
number
its
looks
endeavour.
bigger in dollars than it does in euros.
Because the dollar now is down.
Yeah.
And with CPK, the nation could move from the upper mid-table towards the very top of the tree. At least, that's the aim. But a few key questions jump out, starting with, why the hell is this needed? Well, let's start with the Poland problem. Chopin Airport in Warsaw is the biggest and busiest in the country. Last year, it welcomed a record 21 million passengers through its gates, and is set to undergo an expansion to allow some 30 million to come through by 2029. But like any airport built in a city, it's kind of limited by its boundaries and faces an overnight curfew of limited operations. Poland is in need of a
Oh, it has an overnight curfew. That's so interesting.
Meaning that
Flights cannot fly at night. Yeah, they cannot land. I'm assuming they can't take off. Maybe they can land, but not take off at night. Oh.
that's not practical.
I mean, to be fair, here in America, we also don't have flights taking off at night, I don't feel like. They come in at night, yes, they land at night. Do all the countries have this?
I don't know. Would you take a flight late at night?
In the middle of the night?
It's like a red eye, no?
Kind of weird. I don't know.
But isn't that considered like a red eye?
I think red eye is when you don't sleep, like a red eye because you didn't sleep
Mhm.
the whole night. So it's like you fly overnight. So like you fly at 9 p.m. Let's say, fly out and you get there by 6 a.m. That's like what's considered red eye. Wow. I never realized that was a thing.
Mm.
Huh.
New Central Airport to be the
I guess I kind of thought it was just impractical to like nobody would want to fly out at night. I didn't realize there was like an actual curfew. Oh, you can't do it, like a
But
government
why
curfew.
is it impractical?
I don't know. To get up, go flight at like 2 a.m. Kind of weird. I guess. I guess. I don't know.
base of travel in the nation.
Not
Part of the
usual.
reasoning is the lofty ambitions of LOT, the nation's main carrier. It wants to expand its long-haul services to become one of the key players in world aviation. But given Chopin's space problem, the airport can't meet that company's aims. And with CPK, LOT isn't the only airline that could look to benefit. But it's not just about economic potential, it's also about what this means for the country's residents. The team at CPK say that 300,000 people around Warsaw are impacted by flights at Chopin, and that means noise pollution. Meanwhile, the new port is going to be built here, on a greenfield site covering nearly 2,600 hectares of largely rural land. That's double the size of London Heathrow and nearly 20% bigger than JFK. The potential here is huge. Around 90% of the houses nearby have already been purchased through the voluntary acquisition program to create space for the airport. And modelling by the CPK team shows noise from the new facility is going to impact about 20,000 people, 15 times less than at Chopin. The ambition here is clear, and it's pretty plain to see what it could do for Poland. But what about Europe as a whole? The continent has a few big transport centres, but as you can see, most of the biggest and busiest airports are in the west.
Now, when I was researching this video, I read loads of articles, including some on London Heathrow and the recent fire that affected that site. Trouble is, there were tons and tons of stories out there, and with so many conflicting sources, it pulls me a hit actually, and it makes clear what's been making me act sound with it. So please do go and check out that queue. Right, let's put that research to good use.
As a central cog, Poland wants to connect Central and Eastern Europe. Now, a key part of achieving that aim is the Y Line, 480 kilometres of high-speed rail connecting key cities. It'll feature the longest tunnel in the country at 4.6 kilometres under the city of Łódź using a tunnel boring machine. It's all part of the Poland in 100 minutes plan, with trains travelling 200 miles per hour to make zipping around the country as easy as possible. The line will then connect into the Czech Republic and onto the under-construction Rail Baltica, connecting easy links through to Lithuania, Latvia and Estonia. This really could become one of the best connected nations around. We're expecting this
That's
to be
pretty cool.
successful. CDK has brought Ineco on board as a consultant, having designed and
Do you
constructed
think
Europe's
they will
longest
gather all this funding to be able to accomplish this, or you...
Yeah, it's EU funding. I'm sure EU's gonna give the money. Yeah.
high-speed railway in Spain.
Because here in the States,
It's-
something like this is gonna take a long time. I don't know if this is projected
It's
like
gonna take
20
a long time.
2052.
Not 52, but I would say my guess
What? Your guess?
2035.
You think so? That's fast.
I think it's gonna.
That's fast.
Safe to say the project is in kind of good hands. Now, the Y-Line's main hub is going to be located at CPK, the brain connecting the entire operation. At the heart of it is a massive new airport designed by Foster & Partners in collaboration with Bureau Happold, and it needs to be ready for bucket loads of people.
On a large-scale terminal like this, it's somewhere between 1 and 2 passengers a second for every second of every hour of every day, 365 days a year. That's the volume of people that are passing through. But of course, passengers aren't arriving, 1.5 passengers per second. They're arriving sometimes in thousands of passengers within a few minutes and within an hour.
The airport alone is going to cost $12 billion, funded largely by Polish capital and some EU injections. And the fact this gained EU support shows the potential the project has.
By Polish
It's an
capital?
intermodal model, meaning that
Wow, that's a big undertaking.
Well, EU's, as I said, EU's gonna help, but yeah, the Poland economy is pretty good right now.
operates multiple transport types. Phase 1 of the project includes 2 parallel 1.7 mile long runways set 1.6 miles apart. At this point, the port will initially be ready to welcome up to 40 million passengers each year. The site then includes a bus terminal, a rail station and an airport terminal. It's all connected by a central hub, so your travel journey is as straightforward as possible. But here's where things really spice up. It all needs building at the same time. As we talked about, CPK is more than just a transport hub, it's also hundreds of kilometres of high-speed rail. And that's already under construction in Łódź, connecting to CPK, then onto Warsaw, and come 2035, down to these cities as well. The Y-Line needs somewhere to go, so to connect to the travel hub, a tunnel needs to be created. It'll be broken into 4 sections measuring 450 metres to the east, then another section towards the port building around 800 metres. There'll then be another 1,200 metres of tunnel underneath the main hub, and a further 830 metres at the western end. The whole thing is going to sit 14 metres deep, running underneath the runway and partially under the airport terminal. Now, it would be impractical to build each section of this port separately and then create big tunnels underneath it, and it all needs to open at the same time in 2032, so this site is going to become a serious site
2032?
to behold once construction starts. To really highlight how complex the design is, you can see here some of Foster & Partners' internal infrastructure modelling, and this is only partway complete.
You know, when they give a deadline, I have 5 years. Okay.
It said needs to be complete, so there's some sort of like serious deadline, it seems like. I don't know.
The other types of buildings this intricate are medical facilities. What's really exciting is how this hub has the potential to transform. You see, the design incorporates micro-flexibility, meaning it can be chopped and changed over the years, and it looks set to be.
We design for the maximum, and then we see how it sensibly reduces within that. What's the right starting point? And then what then happens, I think, is the demand for what kind of aircraft we're using, how the building will respond, how the railway station needs
Because
to
how I
have platforms,
imagine is at least 2 generations.
40 years?
Not 40 years, but like,
My generation is 20 years, no?
that's not what I mean.
Oh, what do you mean?
I mean, like, my grandpa and then maybe my cousin, like the people who were working on this.
Oh, okay.
will work up, where it will work through. All of those things start to come together, and they will allow you to shift and change the building as it moves.
Now, that's important because the capacity here could grow to a staggering 100 million people a year, at which point the site could look something like this. Quite a few European ports are created to specific dimensions, and then over time, as demand grows, they try to find ways to expand.
And in Europe, they are generally organically growing objects. Complex, stretched, tested in that kind of way. What doesn't happen in Europe is what's happening in Poland.
At CPK, alongside this pretty unique intermodal model, expansion for the future is already thought about.
That's really
through the buying of
Yeah,
land
looks
ahead of
really
time
nice.
and the design considerations from the outset. It's working 1, 2, and 3 steps ahead. The ambitions of the Polish government can't be underestimated. If you thought an airport, rail terminal, bus station, and new high-speed rail service was enough to contend with, then think again. Because this port is going to be neighboured by 2 brand new cities. At the western end of CPK, beyond where the cargo is being kept, a cargo city is being constructed, although not by the CPK
Wow.
team. Then at the eastern end, an airport city is going to be built. It'll start just behind CPK and feature a commercial centre, but over time it's going to expand further east. Of course, there are still further challenges.
But doesn't that kind of like defeat the purpose of people not gonna get noise pollution? If you're just gonna start building cities around them?
Cargo cities, I understand, is like for the luggage.
So what you wanna do there? But city means, people who live there, no?
I
That's
thought
a-
it's like how they're housing it.
So just storage facility, like cargo storage?
And then the other
Oh.
side is like, where the vendors are, the airport city, like the malls.
Oh, I get it.
That's how
okay.
I understood it.
Okay, that case, yeah. I thought it was actually gonna try to build cities where people live.
Yeah, I thought that too, and I was like,
But that's counterproductive because the whole point of moving away from Warsaw is to avoid noise pollution.
To come. Building permits don't always come easy, and it's why the CPK site has been split into around 80 sections. For example, if 10 permits were to take longer to be granted than the rest, work could still begin on the other 70 sections of land. But all this was cast into doubt back in 2023 with a change of government. A pause and audit was called for to review the project's future. It was given the go-ahead once again last year, albeit with some amendments to make the schedule more realistic. What still remains in doubt is the future of Chopin Airport and what's going to become of it once CPK opens its doors. The assumption is that people are going to slowly move towards the new port over time, seeing Chopin's passenger numbers slowly shrink. In terms of what comes next, there's still a lot of work to do. The final homes on the CPK plots need buying, permits need approval, and tenders need to be agreed for each stage of the work. With all that to contend with, we wish the team working on this the very best of luck. We can't wait to see it open. It's going to be one of the largest transport hubs of its kind on the planet. It won't just be game-changing for Poland, but for the whole of Europe too.
yeah, that's really cool.
Thanks
for
again to Ground
Poland.
News for
Congratulations.
Yeah, that's cool.
Can I see the comments?
I swear, every single mega project in the EU requires a TBM, no matter what. What is TBM? Even if nothing is needed underground, they still need a TBM. I don't blame them. TBMs are cool. I don't know what is TBM. All European capitals should be connected by high-speed rail to minimize use of planes or that. Yeah, yeah. As a German, mad respect to our lovely neighbors to the east. I wish you guys all the best with this project. Modern Poland is amazing, brave, and developing fast. They also make
Ooh.
much better video games than our studios do. If only Polish wasn't so difficult.
Oh, wow.
Mm.
Guys, of course, let us know your thoughts. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Join the Discord. And as always, share as much kindness as possible.